Okay, thanks so much, Susan, for the introduction. And thanks so much for the audience today. And I hope that the participants like this presentation. Also, we have a question is how to mine on Mars and Moon, okay? This is an important question because we have a lot of events, also papers discussing about it. But I have a question that would be better practice on Earth. This is my question related to mining. Also, one of main topics about in situ resource utilization on Mars and Moon is related to mining. Okay, but I have a question related to would be feasible mine in analog station sites. I believe is an important questions. Also, for answer these questions, is also necessary look some legal aspects because some areas is not allowed develop activities of mining. Okay. Okay. In this case, this research presents some challenges related how to learn to mine in small scale. Also identify equipment just available to be used in analog habitats on Earth. Okay. Because sometimes we are imagining the crews for analog stations around sometimes 5 participants, 6, 7, larger crews of 10 participants. And this is interesting to imagine if possible, this crew manage a small plant, a mining plant. We need to think about, okay, about this perspective. In this case, in mining prospection, we have some steps like first, find the mineral reservoir, okay? The second step is understand the mineral mining site, how the main elements, the main minerals in this place, in this area. The third point is according to the kind of minerals identification, determine the kind of equipment to be used, okay? Because depend of the minerals will be, the tools will be different, okay? So for Mars, it's necessary to identify the more prolific also mineral sites, also trying to analyze what are the best resources available to exploration. Okay. Also, when you are talking about Mars, as on Earth, it's a very diverse planet in terms of minerals. In this case, also the possible sites for settlement need to consider the proximity to these possible mining fields. To try to be easy the extravehicular activities to reach in this place, and also develop their activities of mining. In this case, I have here an example of a spectrometer portable. Is around $14,000. This is very interesting because it's presenting some photonic technology, some lasers. It's possible to rank this and point to a rock and have the data about what kind of minerals are presenting in a specific rock or in a specific soil. Also, for if you are imagining develop training activities in terms of the mine exploration in analog sites, would be very interesting. The analog station or the crew present a tool like this, okay, to identify the possible what are the kind of rocks or the soil, okay, what kind of elements. Okay, some demands for Mars minerals. We will be necessary regulate to cultivate plants. Also, this regolith would be necessary to be treated to eliminate the radiation that will be contaminating the regolith. Also, iron to develop utensils, also minerals for great varieties of fuels. Also, according to Cashman, is a company. Both surface and underground mine have three main steps. In this case, the first step is extraction. This involves drilling, blasting, also or digging to remove materials from the mining site. The second point after the extraction is the mineral handling. This includes sorting and loading materials to either to go to a waste area or processing site. And after this, also the third step is the material processing. The final step involves grinding, separating, crushing, refining, and smelting, mining or other goods at offsite plants to turn them in a finished product. In this case, after this small review, I'd like to have a conversation about applying mining in an analog station. In this case, if we are imagining the wood analog stations would be a good site to learn to mine in small scale. It's necessary to identify feasible infrastructure to practice mining on Earth in space analog sites. In the first important thing is think about the support infrastructure, okay, to the analog astronauts develop these activities. The second point is the logistics support. Sometimes the sites, this possible site will be demanding security. It's necessary transportation, also accommodation for analog astronauts, etc. The third point is supporting technologies and machines like the portable spectrometer that I shared previously. Also is important, fundamental, presents a mining site that will be used for the practice of analog astronauts. And the last point is soil and rocks available to be used by analog astronauts. Okay, and the last, not less important, is the legal aspects, also related to environmental license, because also in Brazil and also other places presents the mining is one of the economic activities more regulated in terms of environmental laws. Okay, in this case, it's necessary some legal consultation and try to see the laws and all these aspects to identify if this activity is feasible and allowed to be developed. Okay. In this case, we have a question about Brazil, if a Tati Martin analog station can be a good mine site to learn how to mine small scale in the world. Also, we have some images from Mars Desert Research Station in the Ranks view. This is some photos from the landscape close to MDRS. You can see here a lot of different minerals in the landscape, but if I'm not wrong, these are preserved area. It's not allowed explore or mine in this area. Okay. Also, we can see different layers in the Ranks view. It's very beautiful place. Also all the photos show different kinds of rocks and sand and soil. Also, other photos from the presented different kinds of rocks and sediments. Also, it's very interesting photos because we can see the process of sedimentation of the rocks, and this is I really like these photos from the MDRS. Also, this is a photo from Rio Grande do Norte State, Brazil. In this case, in this area, we have some creeks that maybe would be interesting to also develop some some mining activities. Also, we have some rock formations that will be used and try to analyze these materials, also to build infrastructure to develop mining activity. Okay, in this case, Habitat Marte is based in the corner of South America. Also, this is a photo from our complex in Brazil. Also, there is a second station at Habitat Space Complex. It's called a lava cave habitat. It's a photo from the inner area of lava cave under development. In this case, I'd like to share some possible suppliers of technologies and machines for mining in small scale. Also, before this, I'd like to share some images from a lab, a mining lab in my state, where this also is from the CT or Center of Technology, Mineral Center Technology from Technology Education Federal Institute. They develop soil analysis with following characteristics, okay, related here. And in this facility, in this mining lab, they present a flotation plant. Okay, in this flotation plant, mine flotation plant, the minerals pass through many steps, many process, and depending of the granulometry and also the other physical and chemical characteristics, the soil or the rocks will be classified. Okay, and these is the only equipment like this in the state, and would be in this case is a very fragile equipment. And in this case, we would have a partnership with them to develop some analysis in this lab. But these equipments are also very expensive. And now I'd like to show some equipments like the equipments that we would be used in the mining process. Okay, also these equipments is to be used in a lake. These orange boxes is for flotation. In this case, this mining machines is collecting water. It's a pump water. Also put in the is also draining the sand or the soil to this treadmill. Okay. In this case, we have some values like is between $3,000 or $7,000. This other example of equipment, some mobile gold mining equipment. Okay, to wash. Also is a small plant. Okay, also as an example, also from China. Or the example is a mine washing machine, double layer, mining gold, diamond, gemstones, chromium, screen, mineral separator. Okay, achieving $20,000. This is other example of machine, a complete alluvial gold refining mine processing flow chart. Okay, for also to explore gold. Okay, just continuing. I'm almost finished this presentation. A small scale mine site would be used for education, research, and exposition to train students and visitors about how to mine. Also, the real mining training about how to mine can be very used to develop analog astronauts' competencies Also, it's necessary to convert the situations that would be experienced on Mars and based in a knowledge station on Earth. Okay. Also, I'd like to comment that a lot of these machines is required the use of water. Okay, the use of water in the mining process. In this case, on Mars, it not will be presenting the same technology. Also on Mars, you need to consider the use of a lot of artificial intelligence in terms to, if you take the regolith, how would be the techniques to separate the different elements in the regolith. In this case, the artificial intelligence using also the machine learning software is supposed to be very important to separate the minerals. But I believe the mining activities will be very hard to be developed on Mars. And I believe you need to go deeper in terms of the discussion on Earth, also using the analog stations to develop these possible activities. Okay, these are my contacts. Okay, my Instagram, and also Habitat Marketing can be found in all social media. Okay, thanks so much, and I'm open to questions, also a conversation about. Okay, questions?
Thank you. So we're open now for some Q&A, and anybody has any questions for Julio? You can just unmute yourself and ask the question.
Yes, everybody are welcome. Because it's not an easy thing, I believe, because sometimes we are a lot of times we are talking about the mining on Mars, but we are not practicing, we are not developing activities in a practical way. Okay, and I believe is if I need to go do next steps, okay, in terms to think about in how to think about mining in a practical way.
So are you open to collaboration, and how can people join your projects? Or this particular project, have you started this in Brazil?
No, I know. It's very something new. I believe would be very interesting. We have this activity related with it, but the mining equipments are very expensive. Also, we need to look for possible sponsor. I believe in the facilities of Habitat Marte because it's a private area. I believe would be feasible to develop these mining activities, but it's necessary some funding to develop this. I believe this is supposed to be very unique. I believe not only for Habitat Marte but other analog stations, but also it's necessary to look the environmental licenses to develop these activities, because in my point of view, the geology activities in analog stations like MDRS. MDRS is very rich in terms of as a very interesting geological place. They are more focused in the analysis of the soil, but not mine the soil, not mine the minerals. And I believe you need to do a next steps about develop new technologies related to mining, or if we will be using some some autonomous technologies, and I believe this is an interesting discussion, I believe.
Yes, this is a really interesting topic. Anybody who wants to ask a question?
I would. I agree. It's a very interesting topic. I think it's an important activity once we arrive on Mars and other locations. Mining is really important towards practical in situ resource utilization. So preparing for that certainly requires doing activities at analog sites. Do you know if any known analog sites are practicing mining or doing some kinds of material processing activities, either robotically or using analog astronauts in ways that are similar to what you're proposing, or maybe other ways as well? And what the materials are they mining?
Yeah, well, what I'm proposing is a mining small scale plant in an algae habitat, and also bring the algae astronauts to practice in this mining small plant, because this would be a good ideas about how to mine on Earth. They would be learning and also reflecting how will be the process of mining on Mars, because I believe it's not a practical discussion, I believe, nowadays, okay? Because we are only talking about real big infrastructures in terms of mining different parts of the world, but we are not discussing in a small scale, I believe, also in the analog habitats. It's not developed yet. And this would be a good opportunity to think about, okay?
Yes, absolutely. You can always think about a simulated yard, you know, like one of the habitats that's been built, the sandbar sphere too, where they have a simulated yard, right? So you can just simulate on a small scale how to do that and test out the robotics or the technology. So Rob has asked a question, Julio. How would an analog site help develop techniques to mine in vacuum and the microgravity of an asteroid or low gravity of the moon?
Yes, thanks, Rob, for the question. I believe it's not yet developed. Also, if you look since the beginning of the flashlight in Arctic, also in DRS, the history of analog habitats is less than 20 years. Also, I believe that you need to continue the activities of analog habitats, and this would be maybe a next frontier in terms of the space exploration, because if we develop some practical activities here, we would have learnings about, and also try to fit the proposal, like you saying that about the use to mining, how to develop technologies to mine in vacuum, something like this. But it's very unique opportunities, I believe, because we are not talking a lot about.
Yes, right. So, Julio, we do have somebody from Outspace VR that wants to ask a question. So, Outspace VR, do you want to give us your question?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Is any technology from Elon Musk's Boring company seem to be useful for you?
The virtual technologies?
Yep.
Yeah,
Have you seen anything that they're doing that's useful?
Yeah, I believe it's useful, very interesting. But also, I believe this not. I believe you can also develop the real situations in terms of mining. Okay, I really believe in this.
Fantastic. So we have 3 more minutes. So anybody else wants to ask a question, make a comment? And for Julio, it's a really, really interesting topic. It's a topic that obviously we need to integrate into these analog missions. in actual fact, the Mars, which is the analog out in the Mojave Desert, has the ability to be able to do this because it's huge, and the land is private land, you know, versus land that you cannot destroy the environment, right, by doing all the digging and excavation of soil. So that is something that has to be considered when you are developing and designing a mining protocol study. So maybe there in Brazil, Julio, around your area, the Habitat Mars, has it got the ability to do that?
Yeah, I believe Brazil is feasible. Maybe Mojave, you know, in your initiatives also, I believe maybe is also feasible. And also you need to look try to understand more these machines and how one of the greatest worries about the waste, the mining waste, because it is one of the greatest worries in terms of impacting the environment and also bringing difficulties to the environmental license. But consider that maybe the next 10 years, if we are really thinking about space exploration, also in situ resource utilization, we need to look about how to train on Earth about mining. Okay, and I really believe that the practice about mine in small scale will bring some learnings to apply in space exploration on Mars or Moon. Okay. Also, the question from Pavel: are you familiar with some programs of testing mining technology in the poles? No, Pavel, I'm not very familiar with it. Also, if you would possibly contact me in LinkedIn and share, okay, would be useful for me, because I believe you can develop this more discussion about this. Okay, also develop some more work, more researchers discussing about this. And maybe in the future we will have specific meetings, specific events about space mining. I believe it's not something very present in our discussion today. Okay. And also, Rob is asking, does the analog sites have annotate? Does Moon and Mars have annotates? This can be used as aluminum ore. Okay. An alternative is bitonite ore, as long as albite is not too much prevent dissolving hydrologic acid. Yes, I don't have answer about. Also, this represents the great opportunities of research about mining, trying to answer this question, I believe.